name is Dr. Eric Mays, and I love working with young people. I love talking and working with young people. All right, simple. Because school is set up to help you develop the skills you need to be successful in life, to actualize your potential, to help you fulfill your dreams. And so you all have to match that love with the skills required. And I want you all to think outside of the box. If you love basketball, you just don't think of just being a basketball player. My mom and my dad are from the South. My father's from Carruthersville, Missouri. My mother's from Anguilla, Mississippi. They both grew up picking cotton. Sharecroppers. 1940s, 50s. They moved up north for better opportunities to follow the fruit. They were seasonal. I grew up in a house where my older brother, by the time he was in the 12th grade, was expelled for bringing a pistol to school. My older sister was pregnant before and dropped out before she was in the 11th grade. My younger sister, who was younger than me, didn't make it past 9th grade before she dropped out of school and was pregnant. I grew up in a house where my father suffered from post-traumatic stress syndrome from being in Vietnam. And so there was a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing in my house. And I found solace, I found peace in a book. I would go down to the basement and I would open up these encyclopedias that my mom had. And that's why it's so critical to build a personal library. And I used to go to an encyclopedia that had the most color in it. And it was the F encyclopedia because the F encyclopedia had the flags of the world. And I used to just sit in my basement while all the craziness was going along in my house. And I would just look at the different flags of the different countries. And I would just say to myself, like, man, that's beautiful. One day I want to go there. One day. And so I lost myself in reading. I lost myself in the books. And I used that as my escape. I used to get perfect attendance. I was hardly ever late for school. I remember back when I was going to school, they used to give out these Ponderosa certificates for being on time, for never having a tardy, or never having an absence. I would get them all of the time because I found what I loved was reading. I would later start to play football, and I want you young guys to say you love the sport to understand this. I played football, and it was through football that I was able to get out some of my aggression, some of my frustration. It was also through football that I learned how important it was to discipline myself. I made a commitment in my life that I wanted to be more. Because I was told I wasn't going to be anything, that all I did was eat, sleep, and use the bathroom. And I said to myself when I was in the 6th grade, I remember it vaguely. We stayed in the subsidized housing in Kalamazoo. We eventually moved out of Ben Harbor, another smaller city. And I remember being in another subsidized housing complex and standing on a corner, and I said, one day, y'all gonna say that you used to know me. And I made a commitment. I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't 6'5". But you know what? When it came time to give those tests in those classrooms, back then they used to give these white sheets, 100 problems on them, and they were multiplication or division, and I would be the first one done, and I would get up out of that seat, and I would walk to my teacher's desk, and I'd drop it in the basket. And I found my pride. I found my excellence. And it wasn't just on being the first one done. It was about having them all right and being the first one done. We just need you to get a certain score on your ACT. But imagine that. Imagine if I hadn't have developed myself starting in 9th grade. Now I'm gonna fast forward. because I want to talk to you all specifically about opportunities for you. I went to Xavier University in Louisiana. I had my high school transcript in my back pocket. We were visiting. I pulled out my high school transcript, and I was admitted on the spot. Now, Xavier puts more blacks in the medical school than any other college in the world. U.S. It's just, we like to say world, even though we talk about National Basketball League, NBA. It's a world championship. We talk here. But I was provided those opportunities. So what did I do based on what was given to me in high school? I was able to get into school, transfer to the University of Michigan, walk on to the football team. Thank you, gentlemen. 4 years later, be elected captain of a team. I sat in the stands as a regular student because I was able to be admitted on my own academic performance. And said, you know what? These dudes are sorry. I'm going to play on this team. And I walked on, and 4 years later, I was a captain of that team. And we won a national championship. And they haven't won a national championship since. It was 1997. And the last one they won before that was 50 years. And they're the winningest program in college football Division 1A. Because of my academic performance, because of the foundation that I laid that 9th grade year. See, there's something about this, sitting from this seat, you have all of this future in front of you. But from here, there's this thing called retrospect. It gives you perspective. See, I didn't know that the dots would connect the way they did. I didn't know that having my transcript in my back pocket when I went down there would drastically change my life. I didn't know going to my basketball coach asking to get that class changed would drastically change my life and provide me opportunities where I would go to the University of Michigan and graduate with a master's in educational technology, developing computer-based learning environments. Come to Detroit and help set up a technology department for a charter school. Later go to Howard and do a PhD in educational psychology. Spend a summer in Africa barefoot working in a village school. Spend a semester in Brazil, fala português with outras pessoas, porque ele aprende português, então ele ensina outras pessoas inglês. What? I would go to Brazil and teach English as a second language to students who wanted to come to America schools. And they were preparing for the test of English as a second language. I would teach those students, right? Drastically changed my life after being in Brazil, being in Africa. I would come back to Detroit and be a professor, an administrator at Wayne State, and then decide, you know what? I want to do one more thing. I want to go to Harvard. I would go to Harvard and graduate from Harvard with a master's. My grandmother only went to the 3rd grade. And I was driving with the sunroof open in a car that I had just bought. And I thought to myself, they can say what they want to say. This feels great. It feels great. I go in my backyard. It feels great to sit on my porch, drink my coffee, walk the dog. To have the life that I've seen. So what, young people, does it require for you? It requires for you all to listen to these adults that have your best interests at heart. Think about your future self and what does it look like. See yourself as a successful adult functioning in this society. Not asking for handouts, but instead giving handouts. See, as children, it's better to receive than to give. But as an adult, it's better to give than to receive. To have the ability to give to people that you love, imagine that. The best thing that you can do, young people, is make the best of yourselves. The best thing that you can do on the planet is make the best of yourselves. Do what you love Develop the skills to be great at what you love, or you will just be mediocre. I don't care if it's basketball, coaching, rapping, technology. Mediocre. Be great. Have the courage to be great. Dedicate yourselves. Read. 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 When you get fidgety and you want to quit and it's irritating, read. Drink some water. Get up. Move around. Read. Math and reading and writing. You can write yourself a whole new life. So, how many people have a piece of paper, pen, pencil? And so I don't want you all to let this opportunity pass you. Sometimes you have to know who's in your presence so that you can, and who's offering help. I don't know if you all saw it the other day. I was watching on somebody's Facebook that there was a guy, Kanye West was walking down in Soho in Harlem, and the guy walked up to him and he just started freestyling, right? And Kanye took a minute and listened to his freestyle. Any of y'all saw that? Yeah, sometimes you gotta take the opportunity when somebody is in your midst that's been somewhere that you want to go, or that's done something that you want to do, right? And get the information you can. So don't allow peer pressure. See, you all may think that you all may see each other for the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, right? So the side conversations that you could have with each other right now aren't as important as these opportunities that pass. You got to take advantage of them. The difference between those of you that achieve your dreams easier than those that have to work a lot more are those that see opportunities and have the courage to go after them, regardless of what other people think. And that's what it also takes. You have to be able to stand alone, right? You have to be able to be like, hold on, man, I'll talk to you in a minute. I'm trying to find out, you know what I'm saying? We got to eat. I'm trying to get my mama a house. You know, hold on, I'll talk to you in a minute, right? Like, honestly, like real talk. You know, not beating around the bush. You know, so